nothing but growth over the last few years. We even had to hire more staff and expand our office space. We will soon be able to also not only provide our CFO recognized safety courses, but we're also having a PAL Ed instructor come to our office, so we will be able to administer those courses as well. I'm happy to be here today with our trusted firearms lawyer, Ed Burlew, who's going to talk to you all now about the new laws, what's coming through, and what that means to you. Thank you, Ed.
Well, how you doing? How are you doing? It's a great day. It's a great day to be a gun owner. There's 2.2 million of us out there who own guns. We're all happy about that. Some people aren't. I don't care about them. I care about you. And you care about us. Let me tell you about CSSA. Here's a little more background about CSSA. We have been around for many decades. We have changed the laws. Let me tell you something. You look at the back of your PAL, your RPAL, you look at that special piece of paper you get when you get your RPAL, and it says you can take that gun to the range. You don't need a separate ATT. Thank CSSA for that. We worked with the Harper government. Tony Bernardo worked hard with the Harper government. I backed Tony up on that. We got that changed. That's why it's there. We had a whole bunch more things you could do. You can take them over, you can take it for export, you can take it to a gun show, and of course you can take it to a gun shop for evaluation. And then if you bought it, you got the ATT to bring it home. Those last two are still there. Liberal government got rid of the others because they don't like us. But we made a difference, and we keep making a difference. Every time there's a new bill comes through, a new proposal, a new regulation, we are there. Okay, we are there. We testify before Commons. We'll try it. Oh, that's better. We testified before Commons, before the Commons committees. We put in briefs on this to the Commons committee. All the parties listen to us. They may not like us, but they listen to us. We testify at the Senate. In fact, at the Senate, they adopt, in both C-71 and C-21, they adopted what we said at the Senate committees. But then the liberal whip came in and wiped out everybody's recommendations. Ours, everybody's. So we make a difference. People listen to us, and we work hard for that. And we work hard for you. And that's what we do. Right now we've got some new laws. They sort of snuck through. Let me say about one thing here. There's a new memo that came out from the CFO. They're almost right, but they're not right. They made a mistake. The letter that came out from the CFO's office says you can't bring it prohibited to a range. Wrong. Wrong, wrong, wrong. If you have a 12.6, and there's several 100,000 Canadians who have 12.6s, they're a handgun. You can take that to the range, shoot it to your heart's content, just like any other restrictor. If you got 12.7, same thing. You inherited the 12.6 from your family, you're within the ownership rights, you've got the certificate, you've got the ability to take that to the range and do some shooting with it. And do it. Get out there and do it. Because that's what's going to preserve us, is doing it. Doing the shooting, enjoying the sport, sharing the sport. That's what's going to do it. So we correct. We listen and we correct. So you have the right ideas. Now, what else happens? Well, now we've got these new laws about transferring things. Sneaky little laws. Real sneaky. Okay? I want to go buy a turkey barrel for my 870. Well, now I have to show my PAL, and if I don't show my PAL, and if I don't have a PAL, I can't get the barrel. Because that's the new thing. People think that, oh, well, they put it in, they said something about handguns and handgun slides. Yeah, for a handgun slide, you have to show your PAL. For your 22 conversion, you got to show your PAL. You got to do it buy the turkey barrel too. That may have been lost on people. So you've got, and now your magazines, any magazine, you have to show your PAL in order to get it. Here's a little trick. Here's a little trick. Here's a sneaky little trick. Let's say you're going to get, or somebody is going to get, an antique handgun or an antique rifle. They don't need a license, and it's not registered. Okay, an antique is not registered. So you get the antique. But what if an antique has a detachable magazine? Well, now you better have a firearms license, because if you don't, it's an unauthorized transfer. And that charge is going to come up and going to bite you. You don't want that. That's another little sneaky trick. Why they didn't include those in the exemption, I don't know. But it's that's the way it is. Now, another popular thing, and I've been talking to people today about this, and they still don't understand. And that's what we're giving away at the book. I wrote this up 30 years ago. More than 30 years ago, and I've given out tens of thousands of them. No warrant, no entry. It tells you what the police can't do. There is no such thing as an ordinary police officer coming up to your door going and saying, I'm coming in, I got your guns because you own a handgun. Wrong. No, no, no. You might see that on social media. Sneaky people trying to put that on social media. They keep saying that. They're wrong. For a cop to come in, they have to come in with a warrant. Unless, of course, you're breaking the law right then, you're in a bit of a fight, and then they got to stop the fight and they can come in. Okay? That they can do without a warrant. But they can't come in and do inspections. And in fact, an ordinary police officer can't inspect. They don't have the power. The power is under section 105, 104, 105 of the Firearms Act. It takes an area firearms officer so designated by the CFO with a certificate that says that's what they are, to be able to come in and inspect. And they're not coming in to charge, they're coming in to inspect, to assist you with compliance. That's good. But when they say we want to come in on Tuesday, well, maybe you're busy on Tuesday. And you got to say, well, I can't see you on Tuesday. I can see you a week Thursday. And they have to say yes and come in when it's convenient. Because you're not committing a crime. When they come in, then they get to look. And they'll go through and then they'll check against your registrations and say whether or not they're right. And if there's a little problem, they'll say, well, you got to fix this up, you got to fix that up. That's what they do. But it's never a door, not even for the CFO. Okay? Remember that. That's really important stuff. I don't know. I think it.
You're being censored.
It's on. Okay, here we go. Well, I hope you got most of what I said. I'm not going to repeat it. You'll be happy. Well, I got the smiles. Okay, I'm not repeating it. But the thing that happens now is we have to be very careful and vigilant about what we're doing, because it's a tough time if you break the law. And it's, as I'm pointing out little things, they're making it more and more difficult to break the law, to comply with the law, and easier to break it. So that's why we stay on top of it. We inform you, and it's your membership that provides the funds for us to do our work. And that's what we do. We have taken the CFO to court many times over the last 30 years. We've taken the federal government to court over the last 30 years. We've won. We've negotiated, got new laws that help you out. You know, when there was that problem back in 14 about the CZ 858s and the Swiss arms, and the guys, the desk jockeys at the RCMP lab said they're prohibited? We fixed that. We worked with the Harper government. We showed them the law, and we fixed that. You know, when they used to say that the FRT, the firearms reference table, the FRT was law, we changed that. I did the memo for CSSA. We presented it to the Harper government. We gave it to Blaney, handed it in person to Blaney. He had the DOJ look at it. 3 months later, they came back and said, you know, CSSA's right, Burlew's right. It's the FRT is only advice to friends. It's not law. That becomes a problem when we have these variants now under the OIC of 2020. But it's not law. Not until a judge says it's law. If those guns were listed in the regulation, yeah, that's law. But if it's just on an FRT, it isn't law. It can be challenged. They have to prove it in court. And they better bring the engineers, because our Court of Appeal just said on the Smith & Wesson case that just complaining, this was about the Danforth shooting, because the Danforth people said we want a class action because Smith & Wesson could have made this MP40 with a compliance, with electronic compliance, unless you wore a special ring that you couldn't set the gun on. Judge says, no. That's your hope. But that's not law. That's not engineered. You didn't present any engineering evidence that that's good, that that's possible, or that it was ever done. And the court said, we're throwing your action out. Because it takes more than an opinion. It takes fact. It takes engineering. It takes skill. And that's what we have. We have the resources, and we defend you. That's why you should join and participate and get our courses and learn all the courses for handguns, for shotguns, for rifles. Get your PAL. You know, this year, since October, another 100,000 people in Canada took the PAL course and got their licenses. It just went whoosh, because they're concerned about their freedoms. They're concerned. They want to protect themselves. They want to protect their families. That's legitimate. That's good. Support that. Get involved. Get your family involved. Take your friends out. They say, oh, I'd like to go shooting. Take them out. Don't put the big gun in their hands. Give them a gun that they're going to enjoy. Something they can be successful with. That's going to work. Anyway, thank you for listening to me. Hold down your applause. I know that you're all ready to applaud. And come by the booth. We've got a lot of information. I wish I said we had cookies. We don't have cookies.
All right, thank you, Ed. And as he said, come on over to the booth if you have more questions for Ed or any of our staff or our wonderful volunteers over there. Make sure you come by the CSSA booth and find out what you can do for your rights. Thank you, guys.